All right. So good morning, everyone. I don't know what about you. I'm feeling very excited standing here today. It's been a while since we all went to in-person conference, for me at least almost 2 years. So thank you for everybody for coming here today. And thank you for all who are joining remotely. So I'm Atalia Horenshtien. I'm a customer-facing data scientist at DataRobot. And today we're going to talk about operating machine learning operation at scale. We're going to discuss a bit about the challenges that we have once we are moving into a scale mode. We see what DataRobot can help you with approaching all those challenges and how to deliver machine learning operations to your enterprise. Now, I'm very fascinated about everything related to AI and machine learning. I think that simple machine learning algorithms can solve everyday's problem. And I hope you all are feeling the same as me. And I hope you're going to enjoy this session. So we're all in the data space. So let's talk about facts and some data in order to explain why we have here a problem. Enterprises are dramatically accelerating AI investments. Actually, 86% of organizations increasing their budget for machine learning for 2021, and we're expecting it to grow for 2022 and so on. 76% year-to-year increases in the average of numbers for data scientists. So we see that we have increase in the demand for both machine learning and for staff. This brings me to tell you a bit about DataRobot, the AI cloud. What are we doing? What is this platform about, for those who are not familiar with DataRobot? DataRobot is a platform that can automate and accelerate every step of your path, from data to value, and to democratize data science. From different components in the platform, from data engineering to automated machine learning, time series, AutoML for supervised and unsupervised learning, and to get decision and intelligence. What are the best outcomes, and what is the next step that we as a business should do based on those predictions? Everything will be led with machine learning operations that I'm going to discuss about. The platform is relevant for multiple personas. We have so many people within our organization that using AI, operating AI, and consuming AI. And we have to have this one unified platform that everybody can enjoy and collaborate on. Some of the differentiation of the platform, we support multimodal modeling. So not just the traditional types of data like categorical or numeric, but also images, text, time series. Data is really changing today when we are using it more and more. Everything will be with the level of trust. We need to take governance very seriously, and I'm going to touch on those points later on. And you can choose where to deploy and use DataRobot for your convenience, how regulated you are, on your premise or in your VPC. We are agnostic to the cloud host provider, and we can also offer our platform using the SaaS offering on AWS. This is DataRobot. Now, when we're talking about the personas that we have in our organization, I'm dividing it to 3 main stages when we are talking about the life cycle of machine learning, from data to value. We have the people who create AI, like our data engineers, that preparing the data, the data scientists that training models, creating these models, people who operate AI when we're moving these models into production, and that being usage by the IT or the DevOps people. And eventually, people that consume AI, the business people, the executive people that are taking the decisions on how to drive this business for the next step. Now, what we are going to talk about today is the overlap between the people who are creating AI to those who are operating AI. We call it MLOps, machine learning operations. Now, what is machine learning operations? These are just best practices and technologies that we need to provide to our business in order to deploy, manage, and govern our machine learning into a scalable and governed environment, especially when we are moving to a scale mode. And when we are talking about machine learning operations, it's such a big topic and important one because this is where we can unlock the ROI that we have from models that are ready to be deployed by those who are creating the models and could be deployed as fast as they can by those who are operating the models. And why we need to talk about the combination of the IT people into the data scientist world. We can't expect our data scientist people to deal with infrastructure issues. They need to be focused on the core of their day-to-day activities, on the machine learning space, on training these models. They can't deal with the infrastructure, so we need to have something to make these two groups to talk with each other. So IT people in today's world, 57% of them are being combined as part of the decisions of the business. 85% of organizations today are struggling with IT infrastructure. And 84% of companies must comply with regulation. So it's not just recommendation anymore. We need to take it very seriously. And those three aspects really bring us the importance of machine learning operations. So we have a problem. We have a group that is not necessarily aware about what's going on. This is where we see the blindness that some IT or DevOps people can have because they don't know what the data scientists did. Where are these models? Where they've been trained? How I'm moving them into production? We have some models that are broken. We don't have necessarily control about my models. We see that we have models that I want to deploy. There have been some models that I just deployed. But I also have models that I deployed last week, and I don't know what's going on with them. Are they still relevant to my data? I'm curious to ask you here, can anyone sympathize with this picture? Great. So you're not alone. Because 87% of organizations struggle with long models deployment. And 64% of them also take them at least more than a month to move models into production. Now, why this process is so complex? We call this the inefficient machine learning lifecycle. This lifecycle includes 5 main components that we're going to talk about today. From stuck in the lab, disconnected teams, technology mismatch, lack of stakeholder buy-in, and hidden technical debt. Now, the competitive advantage comes from how quickly we can deploy and iterate on models in production. But nothing gets to production without MLOps. And when we think about our ROI, when we would like to unroll the AI, we have to think about MLOps. MLOps will take a vital role as part of our process. So challenge number 1, iteration speed. Today, when we have more data coming in, frequent of data is changing, the process is completely different. We're moving from the traditional process into a scale process. We have data that is changing, models that are continue retraining, models that are continue to be deployed. How can I make sure that my models are still relevant? They're not decaying over time. COVID can be a very good example for that. When we train multiple models in the healthcare space, for example, but the models that have been trained on data X, it's not relevant anymore because everything has changed. And we don't necessarily have the awareness about that. We don't necessarily have the scale and the capacity to deal with all these models that are under deployment. Maybe We used to have 2 or 5 models under deployment, so I can manage them. But what is happening when we're moving to be AI-driven organization, and now I need to check that all my 200 models that are under deployment are still relevant with all the changing of the data. Challenge number 2, training and production environment are so different. And when I'm talking about the differences, it's mostly on the hardware and the resources differences. We have so many differences in resources, hardware, infrastructure, different teams. So moving one model from the training environment to the production environment can take so much time. We have so many barriers to take care of. Challenge number 3. Composability compounds the challenge. It's not just about how different are those environments from training to production, but also we have here differences in the people that are doing that. They have different skill sets, different languages. Maybe the data scientist group created their machine learning algorithms using Python, but my IT team working in Java. How much time takes to move one model from that environment to that environment? And sometimes I'm managing multiple environments. As we can see here on the top diagram, I have here, for example, natural language processing processor, where I have 5 different models that are combined in this process. Each one of the models created in different language, different framework. How I'm making all these models to talk with each other in order to give me the right output from a decision maker perspective in order to get my predictions as fast as I can. Challenge number 4, diversity complicates auditability and governance. Remember my number from some of the previous slides, 84% of organizations today must comply with regulation. And when we are managing our deployed models, especially for regulated industry, we need to give some reports about who touched what, when, how. And when I have so many people including the process, how can I get the accountability, traceability about what's happening with my model? We need to get an understanding about the model, who touched what. I need to manage access control. I don't want to let everyone to do everything with my models. And also how I'm generating those automated processes for reports. How I'm making sure that my models are not biased. And the last challenge, challenge number 5, lack of reusability. We're all thinking about how to be more efficient, how to improve our processes, right? We need to think as a business. We don't want to reinvent the wheel when we are creating one model. We want to reuse it. That challenge can be very complex, especially when I don't have a unified environment. Some models that I created can be on my personal laptop. Some models can be created on-prem. Some can be created in the cloud. How can I do that? And also, how I'm making sure my business is also keeping all the environments up to date, how I'm embracing new technologies, because I want to be in the front all the time. So with all these challenges, what we really understand is that we need one powerful platform, all in one. A platform that you can deploy models, regardless where they are, to operate on these models, regardless where they are, with all the complexity behind it, and to govern and secure these models. All those 3 components that will give you the trust about your models, to move them as fast as you can into production, to control about them, manage them, and get full visibility. As you can see here on the diagram, we have this in number 2 process, the platform, that everything is going through the same platform. to control your deployed models. So how DataRobot can help you to solve all these challenges that I was talking before. This is where we are expanding our vision with machine learning operations. So based on the challenges, number one will be monitor everything everywhere. Regardless where your models are, DataRobot can monitor these models. So think about having a platform that you have one dashboard, that you see an inventory of all your deployed models, where you can control as an IT manager on all your models, regardless where they are, and getting full visibility on all these models. Second one will be superior machine learning health. This is where not just seeing all these models that are under deployment, but also be able to get service health, all the requests that has been requested from this model under production. Data drift, which features drifted over time. This is something very important for us to understand when we would like to check that our model is still relevant. And also, accuracy of a model. Is my model decaying? Do I need to replace the model? And if I need, being able to manage challengers against my champion. This challenger can replace the champion without shutting down your entire system. Swiping it with a click of a button. Very, very easy to do that. And not just managing the challenger, but also making sure to bring continuous AI to your deployed models, retraining the models to make sure that you're still choosing the right champion for your business problem. And lastly, governance and trust. This is so important. And at DataRobot, we take it very seriously. So we can manage bias and fairness on every deployed model. We can inject humility rules to your deployed models and manage access control on each deployed model. So every time you would like to do something, there's going to be a workflow. We're going to have traceability on every activity that happened within our deployed model. So all these three capabilities are part of the MLOps platform of DataRobot. So we understand that we have here a single platform. As you can see here on the life cycle on the right, from the second that we are deploying our models to the second that we are operating our models, a single and unified platform that can support all those personas, from those who are creating AI, like the data scientist, for those who are operating AI, the IT. The movement is going to be so smooth. With a click of a button, we can move our models that has been trained to our deployed model environment. And we can have multiple other ways to do that within the platform, not just into the DataRobot platform if you want. Which eventually bring us to optimize our process, make it fast, and of course, optimize the cost. So some of the takeaways that I would like to send you about our platform. First takeaway will be best-in-class machine learning infrastructure. This is where we are enhancing our MLOps for you, to bring you the best-in-breed technology and help you to deal with all these challenges. Applied AI at scale. We see how important it is to have this platform to control and help you in your organization once you're moving to scale because of all of these challenges. And lastly, model flexibility. It doesn't matter where your models has been created. It doesn't matter where your models are being deployed. There is a platform that can take care of all of them in a unified one. And although today I mostly focus on the machine learning operation part of the platform, as you can see in the middle here, we've discussed about that. I would like to mention, some of you may be aware about Algorithmia, which is very strong in the machine learning operation space. We recently purchased Algorithmia. This is also going to bring DataRobot even to a better position with machine learning operations. But the platform is so broad, as I mentioned, from data to value. And we have two additional components as part of the platform, from machine learning development, where we support multi-models to train. Those can be models that has been developed by DataRobot, models that we support from open sources like R, Python, and so on. The platform can be used by a very single and simple UI, but also for the advanced user can be accessible through our API, Python and R. Our problems that we solve, supervised learning like regression, classification, multi-class classification, time series, something very important today, unsupervised learning, clustering, anomaly detection, everything from a single platform. And of course, the machine learning decision-making to our business people, where we have our models that deployed, all those predictions can be accessible through multiple layers. It can be to your day-to-day BI application, like Tableau or Power BI, can be automatically deployed to your data warehouse, for example, Snowflake, where you would like to leverage the elasticity of the data cloud to get faster predictions immediately to your warehouse. Or even to messaging systems and to some AI apps that are part of the DataRobot platform as well, in order to bring you the experience as to end-to-end platform. So I know we covered a lot today. It's important for me that you will stay connected with us. So first of all, you can come and stop by our booth. We are here, AI 360. This is the DataRobot booth. We'll be very happy to discuss with you about MLOps and the other capabilities that DataRobot offers. Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Here you have the code to my LinkedIn page. Very happy to answer on any question that you have and help you with your journey as part of machine learning and AI at scale in your organization. DataRobot offers a lot of good resources to learn from, to explore. We have our community, where we have some people from our team to answer some questions, share some content, but there you can also see some of our customers' questions and experiences. You can see how our existing customers using DataRobot platform in order to leverage their ROI with a Pathfind, where you can see for each industry what are the main use cases or the common use cases where we helped our customers. And so far, we helped to customers with more than 1 billion models under production. And of course, you can request a demo. You can see a demo today in our booth or to schedule something later on. I think we have a couple of minutes left if there are any questions.